Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis, and Zur has arrived. He is on Nessus, and he's up here in Watcher's Grave, and this is again for the weekend of June 3rd. So let's go over everything he's got and see if there's anything worthwhile. First thing we've got is Coldheart. Trace Rifles did get a boost for Scavenger. They also got a boost in PvE damage, so this is an old one, but if you don't have it, you're a newer player, haven't really picked this one up before, it's good. This weapon shoots a steady, cold fusion powered arc laser, so it's an arc trace rifle. Deals more damage the longer it remains on a target, and they also change this thing to where if you come off the target and you get back on it, you'll be able to maintain that one a little bit longer. Periodically generates ionic traces while in its high damage state, so you'll be able to reload your abilities a little bit quicker. May not be like the crazy thing right now, but think Arc 3.0 could be very good in Season 18, so definitely pick this up if you don't have it. For the Hunters, we've got Oathkeepers. Bow's charge can be held indefinitely. Fun thing to use in PvP mostly if you're just hanging around a corner or watching a lane. Unfortunately, you've got a 59 stat roll and a 3 in mobility. For a Hunter, that's really hard to recommend. If you don't have these and you got a lot of shards sitting around for some reason, you can experiment. But if you're not a bow person and, you've got a better version, which you probably do, you can probably skip it. Not great for Hunters. For the Titans, we've got Ashen Wake. Good looking one we've got here. Fusion grenades now explode on impact and gain increased throw speed. Final blows with fusion grenades grant grenade energy. So, nice to see you get some grenade energy back, instant explosion, throw faster, and you can pair that with a 64 stat roll. You've got 8 in resilience, you've got 18 in recovery, you've got discipline, helping in the grenade recharge. Overall, a 64 stat roll for Titans, something based around grenades, got some recovery, got some resilience, which we all know now is very important as well. Definitely a good one. So Titans, if you check your Ashen Wakes, this may be better than what you've got. If you don't have it, get it. For the Warlocks, we've got Astrocyte Verse. This one's based all around blink. You can blink further, more frequently, and your weapon's ready faster, and radar remains up while blinking. So if you're a blink Warlock and you haven't had this before, definitely experiment with it. But I will tell you, the stats on this one, mediocre at best. You got a total 60, while recovery is 11, little high in the resilience department, little low in the mobility department for something based around jumping. Generally, if you haven't had it before and you like blink, this is a way to experiment and see if you want to farm for it. But overall, this is not a great stat roll, not a must-buy or anything like that. For Hawkmoon, we're looking at a hipfire grip, and unless you are just a beast at hipfiring a Hawkmoon, this one is probably not worth picking up. For Deadman's Tale, while you do have Vorpal in this column, which is one I know a lot of people are going to be looking for, unfortunately, some of these other ones could be better in a lot of different ways. You can go small bore here for some range. You get some range, ricochet rounds, armor piercing, anything with knockback, and then, of course, a Vorpal, while good against both Guardians and their supers and bosses and champions, it's not a bad thing, but I don't know if this is worth all the currencies that it takes to buy one of these exotics. So I might wait and see if you get a better roll. If you're just die hard for anything with Vorpal on it, it's up to you, but it's not where I would spend the currencies this time. For legendary weapons, we just have 3 of them, but this sidearm, I'm going to tell you guys, pick it up. It's definitely a good one. Combination-wise, you've got Outlaw for those precisions, getting very fast reload. Swashbuckler, you're already up close or half punching anytime anyway. Pair that thing with high caliber rounds for some knockback, small bore for some stability and range. A little bit more stability and range than the corkscrew, but if you want a little handling, you can boost it there, and a range masterwork. So this sidearm is going to be able to put in some work, put a targeting adjuster on it, get those precision shots. This is a good sidearm. Pick this one up if you don't have it. I promise you, you can have some good work with this one, PvE or PvP. Mess around with it, you can put some work in. I promise it's good. For the Iota Draconis, we have Under Pressure in Kickstart. Not a bad combination paired with accelerated coils and charge time. So you're going to get the fastest charge time you can, but it is a high impact frame. So keep that in mind. This is not going to be like pull it out and insta-voop. It's going to be a very slow charge. You're going to hit harder, have a little bit more range to it as well, because you can throw an extended barrel if you don't care about the stability. Stability is not a bad thing to have on it though. I'm not saying this is going to be like a god roll or anything, but again, Kickstart for the boost charge rate, accelerated coils, and that one, it's going to be about as fast as you can charge a high impact frame. So if you do want to experiment with something like that, pick this one up, toy around with it, see if you like it. But I don't think this is going to be breaking the PvP meta or anything. Final one is going to be the Swarm. This is just a good machine gun. If you don't have an arc machine gun, it's always one of those good things to have. Machine guns are hitting hard. Again, remember the 40% bonus to red bars and orange bars. Bosses is 20%. You've got Tactical Mag, which is a boost to not quite as big on the magazine, but you also get some stability, some reload speed. You've got some control on this thing, some stability. Surplus, if you have your abilities up, you've got it there. Honestly, and Vorpal is going to give you a 10% damage boost, basically, against anything like champions, bosses, things like that that you're trying to put some damage into. So overall, not like the best roll you can get on the Swarm, but if you don't really have an arc machine gun, add this to your collections because I've seen much worse, and this one definitely will put in some work if you need it to. All right, for the armor, for the Titans, you've only got 2 that are even worth looking at because you got a 55 and a 57. Over here, you have a 62 with high mobility, recovery, and intellect. I'm honestly going to say this one's probably not that worth it. High intellect is really based around a super recharge time, which any more abilities are going to be doing more than just that one super. You'll get more out of killing stuff than probably your intellect, like really leaning into it is. And giving up everything else here probably hurts a Titan. As for the 65, this one's decent. Strength roll, for some reason, depending on your build. Right now, hammers, if you throw it and pick it back up, the strength isn't going to be that beneficial, so I'd probably rather see discipline here. Decent recovery and decent resilience, though, on a 65 total. Honestly, not bad, depending on your build. So, reasonable legs for the Titan. For the Warlock, we've got a couple things that you can skip over. They're both 57s. The chest, you've got a little higher mobility than I would personally like, but recovery, double digits, intellect, double digits, strength, double digits. Not too shabby. Discipline, I would like to see a little bit higher, but overall, a 65 stat roll, depending on what stats you're trying to mess with, never a bad thing to look at. For the gloves, you do have a 60 stat roll, but you've got high recovery, high discipline, high strength, a little bit of mobility. Those 3 alone, recovery, discipline, strength, for all that ability uptime that you're going for, those 3 are great, and recovery is going to be that Warlock stat. So while it is a 60, you're lacking on intellect, which not as big of a deal, and then resilience, I'd like a little bit, but again, that's just a preference. This is not one of the better 60s I've seen for a Warlock in a while. For hunters, we've got 60 on gloves. They're okay, a little low in the mobility department, but honestly not a bad distribution on stats. And then the chest, you've got a 62. Now, while there is next to no mobility, which hurts a hunter, resilience is one of those things that can help keep you alive, but I don't think hunters are really going to spec into it. The high recovery, high intellect, and strength isn't bad, but low mobility still even hurts this 62. You got a 62 over here, kind of similar situation, decent for abilities, some recovery, higher resilience, a little bit of mobility. If you're looking to start building up some resilience for PvE, which is a good thing I'm doing for a Titan. Hunters, probably not so much. You guys still probably want a lot of mobility. Resilience will still probably come second, and a 58 here. That pretty much does wrap up Xur for this weekend. One quick reminder, if you are working on Iron Banner, you should have the 4th challenge up today. And then once you complete that one, then you should be good for the biggest buff that you can get. I'm on a different character, so it's not looking quite right. But that is it. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like below. Leave a comment if there's anything that I didn't shout out that I probably should have. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me streaming over on Twitch, maybe later today, but sometime this weekend probably. And if you, of course, if you guys haven't subbed yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. Those of you who already subbed, if you are members, thank you for that support, or Patreon subs, thank you for that extra support. You guys are awesome. See you soon.